Welcome to a Create.Control tutorial video. In this video, we'll cover the many functions of the Snapshots view, giving you powerful control over your event's spatial dynamics and emulated room acoustics. To begin, let's take a look at our snapshots. Here we see in our snapshots list 3 different snapshots for 3 different songs with different positioning, spread, delay mode, and end space settings. To view the contents of a snapshot, we need to switch to the Snapshots view. Click a snapshot in the list to select it, and we can see at the right all of the different parameters contained within that snapshot. In the Sound Objects Parameters list, we see all of the parameters for all of your sound objects in the project. All parameters which are highlighted in blue are set for recall. If there are some parameters that you do not want to recall, you simply locate that function in the recall scope and click to remove the checkmark. This will gray out that parameter, and it will not be recalled with that snapshot. Additionally, if you want to update a parameter within the snapshots list, simply click in the blue box for that parameter and type in the new value. For delay mode, simply click the box and select the new delay mode from the dropdown. Any changes made to the parameters list in the snapshots view is saved instantly. If you want to add or remove all parameter recalls from the sound object parameters, you can also click the checkboxes above the recall scope. This will enable or disable all recalls on your sound object parameters. For snapshots with animations, you can click the recall toggle to enable or disable all animation recalls for the selected snapshot. If you want to remove just one animation from a snapshot, click the Edit Animation Attachments, then click the toggle for that particular animation, then click the Edit Snapshot button to be returned back to the snapshot view with the snapshot already selected. Additionally, you can enable or disable all end space global settings with the recall toggle. To adjust the on-space settings, simply click the drop-down, text field, or toggle to make your adjustments. All changes are saved instantly. Now that we've covered the basics of the snapshot view, let's take a look at some of the more advanced features and functions. Let's say that after preparing the project offsite, when we show up, it turns out there's another instrument that wasn't on the writer. No problem. We simply create a new object in the soundscape view, position it, and it's not moving when I recall my snapshots. That's because by default, Create.Control will disable all recalls for the newly added object in all our snapshots, in case the object will be static. In this case, you're ready for showtime. But if you need to reopen the project later, it would be wise to add its position to your first snapshot. To do so, we'll need to use the Update function. The Update button takes the current values of the sound object parameters and on-space global parameters and stores them in the selected snapshot, overwriting any previous values. Keep in mind, this currently does not support the animation state, only object and unspace parameters. Let's return to the snapshots view, and we see that the object exists with positional data, but all of the recalls in the recall scope are disabled. So let's simply enable those recalls. Great. Now let's save our project. And if we reopen the project and recall our first snapshot, we see that our new object is in position. But what if the object isn't static? What if it needs to move throughout the set list? That's no problem. Simply recall the snapshot in which the object will move, reposition the object, update the snapshot, return to the snapshots view, and enable all recalls in the recall scope. Now, when recalling our first snapshot, our object will be in place for the start of the show. And when we recall our next snapshot, the object will move into its new position. And if we recall our third snapshot, we see that the object has stayed in place. But what if it needs to move back to its previous position? Well, this is why we've created a handy function called propagate mode. Propagate mode is used to propagate certain parameters from one snapshot to one or more others. While propagate mode can be used for most parameters available within a snapshot, including endspace parameters, I'll simply demonstrate this one object. First, select the first snapshot in our list. Next, click the propagate button to enter propagate mode. Select the object's X and Y axis recall to highlight them. Click the snapshot you want to propagate your selected parameters to, and then click the propagate button again. Here we have options of whether we'd like to discard, cancel, or apply. In this case, I'm going to apply them. Now that we've propagated the parameter to the third snapshot, we need to enable the recall scope for that object also. When we return to the soundscape view, and if we recall our snapshots, we see that in snapshot 2, the object moves to the front of the stage, and in snapshot 3, it returns to its previous position at the far left of the stage. Keep in mind that if you have entered propagate mode on accident or have changed your mind, simply click the propagate button again and then click discard to exit the mode. Some very easy to understand functions are the duplicate and delete functions. Duplicate will make a copy of the currently selected snapshot whose ID shares the same major number but has an increased minor number. Keep in mind that if you've reached minor number 99, the duplicate function will be disabled because the maximum minor number is 99. After duplicating, you can simply rename the snapshot and change any parameters necessary, or use the update function to store the current system state. However, be economical with the duplicate function because it is not possible to multi-select snapshots, so deleting many duplicates could become tedious. If you'd like to delete a snapshot, simply select one and click delete. Keep in mind that snapshots will be deleted immediately without a warning dialog. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching.